Okay, we have Michael Tompkins here. Going to get right into it. And the first question we have for you today is, as a board member, how do TAG's core values translate into your own guiding principles?
In so many ways. I guess I'll start with my friendships. Um, I come from a traditional country white background. My parents, we were raised lower middle class. But my mother, always took us to church, and we always treated people equally. And I grew up in New York, but when I tell you in my entire county, there was probably, well, not my county, but probably in my entire town and surrounding towns, there was one black family. They they were included in everything that our community did. And so I didn't really experience the inequality, even when I was poor. I didn't experience the inequality of society until I went away to college and saw when I lived in cities, when I lived in the South, the deep South, when I've lived in places where there have been high populations of immigrants. And so, then I started to see how some people had different interpretations than others, and yet um, those who were afflicted didn't have the opportunity. And so, as a board member and as a owning a company, an HR company at that, a human resource company at that, I try to look at what companies could use more diversity in their team. I mean, black, brown, Asian, et cetera. As a board member, I think that's really important. The other piece is that I have a voice now in a different way that carries larger than my name, larger than the industry that I'm in, larger than the community that I've been part of. And, by the way, black, brown, Asian, Hispanic, gay, lesbian, all of that. And so I feel an obligation, not just to share some of my blessings with the underprivileged, but to actually use that to make a difference in the community. I want to give, and I want to spend my time, and I want to be a voice for action to make change. I'm not about being on a board for being on a board. I'm about being on a board to make a difference and to make sure that the goals that we set are achieved.
What is your vision for TAG?
Originally, I worked on a program where we were using art to convey feelings on a large scale. And this was back when there was a number of shootings happening across America, whether in the gay bars or in the churches in South Carolina, or from police officers in some cities and others. And the program that we did was very successful. And START actually, TAG actually owns that collection from the START organization. And I saw firsthand how we changed lives in areas like north of Del Mar in one day. A mother of, I think, 6 children whose kids had never seen public art, and yet they're 3 miles away, but had no access to get down there in St. Louis. And we brought it to their community. It was very touching. And what our original plan was to move that around the countries, to sort of move it to cities that were affected. And we had a major philanthropic donor whose vision it was to do that as well, whether that be in Dallas or Minneapolis or Detroit or St. Louis or South Carolina and Florida. And so, I was really touched and inspired. But what I was inspired by the most was what came out of it. An invitation to go to Las Vegas, to the Mandalay Bay after the massacre, and use our programming to help some of the staff there heal from that country music shooting. We also went from there to Hope Global Forum in Atlanta. And I saw the impact that 12 people made. And so when I think about Tribe, I think, how can we create a space for those who need to get access that is sustainable and grand and can change lives? And I know that TAG can do that. And I know that TAG can do that with art. And I know that as we get funds and as those funds come in, we will use those funds to move some of our ideas. And we're putting those ideas together now, and I'm really excited about them.
Thank you so much.